we've seen a lot of movement in the with Jamaican athletes in Turkey. Even a Nigerian athlete in Turkey. Um, I know we wanted a kind of a more professional kind of stance on how athletes are paid and things, but between countries, it seems like that's how it's going. Like pay for play. You know what I mean? So you had three field athletes just change their allegiance from Jamaica to Turkey. Um, what are your thoughts on that, and on their stories of how they're feeling, and the amount, the dollar amount of which they're saying it's a $500,000 amount for them to go and train, but on top of that, there will be bonuses given for if they place at World Championships and Olympics, along with a monthly stipend along with that. Now, I would like to know. Uh, what are the intricacies of them being Turkish at this point? What do you think of this?
I'm for the athletes, 100%.
We are for the athletes, yes.
We are for the athletes, 100%. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the fact of the athletes have one career. That's it. You know, and you have to make the best of your career. And if you know that you are talent that can be able to showcase your talent in the world and be one of the people that stand on top of a podium, that means that you are in a very small bracket of percentage that can be successful in the world, right? So with that being said, if I'm an athlete in that situation, I'm going to go. I'm going to switch. I'm going to switch because it's going to be lucrative for me at the end of the day. All my hard work is going to really legitimately pay off. And then on top of that, you're going to feel that you are being appreciated, you know, because you're being taken care of like a professional athlete. And this is one of the things that we talk about in our sport is the fact of we say we're professional, but there's a lot of things in our sport that's still done very amateur-like, you know? And now there's no knock towards Jamaica and their federation, anything like that. We don't know what's behind the scenes, behind the closed doors, if there's enough money that to be able to be dispersed to be able to appease these athletes that they do have, you know what I mean? So we don't know that. And if you remember, there was a video that came out not too long ago where Asafa spoke on this. And what he said, and some people, it ruffled a lot of people's feathers the way he said it. He said, if I had a decision to make it over again, I would not. That's what he said. And I don't think my kids are going to run for Jamaica unless things change. That's what he said. Mm-hmm. Unless things change, you know? So no athlete spoke out against what he said. So he's only speaking the truth. It aged well. It
definitely aged well. I've heard that the J3As, they've had a meeting and they're trying to figure out on to how to have some type of mediation between them and the athletes, or how they could come to some solution that this doesn't keep happening. So whatever they're putting together, I hope is substantial enough to keep, because we all know Jamaicans, they love being Jamaican, but to what's being said, like one of the athletes said, me being Jamaican and having pride in my country doesn't pay the bills. It doesn't feed my family. It doesn't do those things, even if I get a gold medal. And I understand that immediately, because yes, you are a countryman, but then you are someone who is taking care of your family. You have a responsibility, whether you're the breadwinner in the whole family or you're the breadwinner of your nuclear family, being mom, dad, and the children. You know what I mean? Having pride doesn't pay the bills. You can't have a gold medal and then be eating porridge. That's not what you want to do.
You're right. And let's not say that these athletes are the pioneers of this situation, right? Because there are athletes out there before them who changed allegiance. There was an athlete that was named Jace.
Yeah, Jake was.
Yeah, and he changed allegiance and he went to Turkey.
He did. I thought Jake's had to drive his stick shift car.
There you go. See?
I know Jake. Yeah, I know him personally. Yeah, I taught him how to drive a stick shift car. Yes, Jake's. I remember that.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I know Jake's situation might have been a little different because it was the fact of at that time in the era when he was sprinting, it was almost like cannibalism, right? Because all the athletes were running fast. So how are you going to be able to pay all the sprinters to be able to be compensated correctly when you have so many sprinters who are running, right? So if you're a guy who's not getting that opportunity and you know that you're a 10-0, 10-1 kind of guy, maybe a 9-9 guy, and you went over to Turkey or wherever else, and they don't have that, they're going to open up the door and the checkbook for you. You know that. But let's talk about a list of athletes who did this throughout history. And we actually say, great job, great decision. First, we're going to start with the legendary Merlene Ottey. Merlene Ottey was a Jamaican athlete and she changed her citizenship.
But they would say she did it later on when she wasn't able to still win medals. So I get that one. They would say and I think she married into Slovenia, like her husband's Slovenian or from Slovakia, one of those countries. I'm not sure. But she was older when she changed allegiance.
Okay, I can give you that. And I mean, there's, like I said, there's different reasons of changing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about Sasha Zoya. Sasha Zoya is out here, one of the great hurlers on the scene right now, and he actually was Australian. Good day, mate. I'm heading over to France.
This is crazy, yeah, man. Yeah,
how do you take yourself to have an Australian accent? Then you over here talking like a French athlete as well. Like, hey, good day, we.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
But I didn't even know that. I had to do the research, and I didn't even know that he was Australian at first, and then he went over to France.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, yeah. And then our own Rai Benjamin, legendary Rai Benjamin, actually was from Antigua,